I'm Jessica Corner, Executive Chair of Research England, one of the councils of UKRI. And I'm here today at Birmingham City University, standing in a room overlooking the work to complete the HS2 railway as it is going to come into Birmingham City and end at the station just a few hundred yards from here. We've just finished a really interesting and really engaging conversation with colleagues for a roundtable on the UKRI strategy from across the Midlands, from universities, from businesses, from the combined mail authorities and other organisations. So it was a really vibrant and important conversation that we've just had. Broad support actually for the UKRI strategy direction and a good conversation around that. And not surprisingly, one of the things that was raised actually throughout, I think, was the importance of place. And for UKRI to consider when it's making investments, even when they are very carefully chosen strategic choices about particular initiatives or investments in research and innovation, infrastructure or assets or people, to also consider that in places like here in the West Midlands, that there is an extraordinary disciplinary asset base and talent base that we need to keep going for the long term because it serves research and innovation for the future. We talked about the need for the strategy to, yes, be focused around industrial strategy and how important that was, but also to make sure that it's future-proofed, that the strategy can last for the long term and has longevity about it, because investments do take time to mature and deliver. We talked quite a lot about the three buckets model and the curiosity-driven and applicant-led driven research being, yes, very important underpinning, but also not to see that as these things as siloed, that they should be connected, and there could be pull through from each of those stages through. And how is UKRI going to technically manage that as a process was strongly advocated. We had an important and interesting input from our industry colleagues who, reflecting on the newly published Innovate UK prospectus, while they like what it's saying and support its direction, also felt that perhaps it is very focused on starting, growing and scaling companies and retaining them in the UK. And maybe as a whole we should think again also about our large industry partners who work, as they were saying, every day with universities on projects that are future-proofing what they do, making sure that their processes are up to date and have the new technologies that are emerging embedded with them and developed into those processes, and also in the way that they are developing their supply chains. And these are all established businesses, not the sort of starting ones. So we need to think about how that can happen. We also had an input relating to the improving lives and livelihoods theme of the mission for UKRI, feeling that maybe it's a little bit underserved in the strategy as it's emerging and the narrative that's coming forward, and how important it is that we do really focus on what the public and communities are going to get out of the outputs of research as an important endeavour. And of course that's what creates community and public support for UKRI's investments for the future, and for future governments to think that science and technology are really important and endorsed by the public.